MLB doubleheader on FS1. First, Matt Olson and the A's taking on Shohei Ohtani, Brandon, and the Angels. That never gets
Let's
old.
go. The Monday.
Got a little excited. Then Josh Donaldson and the Twins battling Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals. All that sweet action begins Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Nobody sells a baseball promo. That's coming up on Saturday, like I do. Time for But First. Joy in for Nick this morning. Joy, you're talking Luka.
Yes, I am in for Nick Wright. So let's talk about his adopted Slovenian son, Luka Doncic, who went 48, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 6 three-pointers, went 18 for 29 in 31 minutes and 7 seconds. If Team USA gets knocked, I think I'm Team Slovenia. That's a fair transition, right?
Wow, really?
I'm gonna jump ship.
Whoa. Why not Team France?
You know what they say, not USA.
Go with Team
Slovenia.
France.
Oh, I loved this over the weekend. I loved this so much. The Hughes siblings, the Hughes brothers, just like the Wolf siblings. I'm going to tell you why. So Luke Hughes is in the suit. Look at him right there. He was drafted 4th overall by the Devils this week. A nice moment for him. He was composed. He was mature. He got drafted. He was happy. Well, it was a life-altering moment, apparently, for his brother Jack Hughes in the khakis, who already plays for the Devils. See, Jack lost his mind at the thought of his brother playing alongside him. Look at him. He can't get enough. He's so excited.
Why is he
This
shaking
is
his legs
exactly,
like
guys,
that?
how it would play out in my family. If my brother told me he was getting
That's
on
not twerking,
TV
that's
and
working.
joining us here on First Things First, he was working.
Murky.
He would be cool about it. He's Luke. He'd show up for work. He'd go to work. I'd be in the corner. I'd be going bananas. I'm
gotta
Jack.
teach him how to
I'm
dance a
Jack.
little
I'd probably
bit, move his
also be
body.
wearing khakis. I know. I'd also be hugging everyone, and my brother, like him, would also be mortified. What is the moral of the story? There never is one in the mornings when I do these, but I love being
my
Luke, and I
goodness, what
love
is
how
this
excited they
leg
got,
thing?
and I can watch this on loop over and over again. Kevin Wild.
I'm sorry, Jenna. I just looking at this.
I've got a moral.
Him shake like that. I'm sorry.
Q4. An AI humanoid went 3 for 3 during halftime of the USA-France game. Or as the New York Post aptly put it, horrifying robot plays basketball at Olympics. And while no fan of the speedy march toward the singularity, I am proud of Q4. It's been in development since 2018 when Toyota engineers started the project in their spare time. And if you're not happy for the engineers whose side hustle ended up in the Olympics, well, I have a question for you. Who's the real heartless robot? Q4
No way.
or you?
No way
Nailed
he drains
it.
it from half court. No way. Oh, why we couldn't see? I
think that was rhetorical.
Half-court shot.
I think that was rhetorical, but I'm really not great with these things. Time now for Drawing a Blank.
Boom.
Talking some
Uh-oh.
Saints.
Football's back.
Specifically, Michael Thomas, after it was announced over the weekend, he may miss the start of the regular season. Why? He delayed off-season ankle surgery until June, with speculation being he may have done that out of frustration with the team, the Saints. So, Brandon, the Michael Thomas situation should have Saints fans feeling blank.
Uh-oh, football's back. So that means there's more drama. This is how we're going to start off the year in New Orleans. Look, I lived there for a couple of weeks in a little shotgun home in Uptown. The New Orleans fans should feel like gumbo. If you're there, you know everybody does it a little different. Everybody feel a little differently about it. They put a little bit of this, they put a little bit of that in there. They love Michael Thomas. They love Coach P. They love the Saints, obviously. Oh, that kind of rhymed a little bit. But look, these guys are two competitive people. They're they're extremely stubborn. And so they're going to be in this situation until Mike T moves on. Let's just get straight to it. Michael Thomas is a guy that is highly competitive. The way he approaches the games is the same way he approaches the meeting room. It is the same way he approaches practice. And Coach P is the same way. Coach P, he sees it one way, and that's the only way. If anybody gets outside of that, there's going to be a problem. Now, this whole thing about the ankle injury, you go through a whole off season, Joy, and you have something there. You're trying to figure out if you're going to get over the hump. So I'm not buying that he waited to have this surgery because of his situation with Coach P and the Saints. I'm not buying that, but I am buying that there is some bad blood there in the water, and it's been there for a year and a half. Hell, it was there when I was there, but they found a way to get through. And you had Drew Brees there. Drew Brees was always that guy in between these two. Drew Brees was that person that Michael Thomas always looked up to. So if Drew Brees isn't there, they got to find a way to move on from Michael Thomas. I wouldn't say move on. I would just say they just need to separate because it's not going to work out. So they should feel a little bit like gumbo because a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a little bit of everything, and nobody really understands the situation except those two, Joy.
No, I agree. I don't think that I'm not buying he just waited and there's some sketchy situation with when he got the surgery to kind of mess with the Saints. Michael Thomas is a very competitive player. And why would he sabotage the start of his season to have this surgery if he knew he could have it before? I'm not buying into all that. Saints fans should definitely be concerned. I think this is going to be a rough year for the Saints, not just because of this Michael Thomas reported trouble, which, as you mentioned, Brandon, has been kind of going on for a while now that they've had a little bit of a rift, but they don't have a quarterback. Like, they have two quarterbacks. If you have more than one quarterback, you have no quarterback. They don't know who the leader of the team is. We're waiting to find out when that's going to happen in camp. Is it Jameis Winston? Is it Taysom Hill? Are they going to be splitting it still? There's no leader. And you go from one of the greatest leaders in the history of the sport in Drew Brees to not having a quarterback, to now the Michael Thomas drama is dialing up again. I'm with you. I do see them separating sooner rather than later because after a while, you know, rifts start to build over time. Joy. It gets to keep gnawing at a little bit, just, you know, moving the scar around. And then Drew Brees isn't there to, you know, make everything better. It's going to be a bigger problem. So I think Saints fans are going to have kind of a rough season. I do think they have a lot of talent still,
Taysom Hill will not be starting. Taysom is not the quarterback. They have one quarterback, Joy. That's quarterback.
A whole different conversation. I agree with you. But I just think it's going to be some rough waters ahead for the Saints.
All right, so I was buying the story that there was drama via the ankle, but now since you're not buying it, I'm going to downgrade to just leasing it. I was going to buy it, now I'm just leasing it since you guys are so out on it. To me, it sort of rings like the Pippen surgery that we heard about in The Last Dance, that he was upset about his contract, so he had his whole summer. He didn't want to rehab during the summer, so he got the surgery late, and then sort of missed the season as sort of a middle finger to Bulls management. So is that happening here? Possibly, I'm not sure. My answer, as far as how this sort of, you know, dominoes down the road, is Taysom time. So look, Brandon, I know you say, you know, there's only one quarterback on the roster, and I'm a Jameis guy, but look, when Michael Thomas was out, they really dropped down. They went from they were 15th and then 27th when he missed those games in the back half. Overall, they threw the ball 28th most times in the league. So, Brandon, without Michael Thomas, I feel like Jameis obviously is missing a weapon. They're going to run the ball even more, which leads me to believe that it's more Taysom, less Jameis. Do you buy that
Taysom.
Because Michael Thomas is out, you start to get more Taysom?
Well, listen, no, because Jameis Winston, I'm telling you, Joy, I'm all in on Jameis Winston. And here's the deal. We talked about this before the start of last year. You have two guys and the offense goes through them. That's Alvin Kamara and that's Michael Thomas. You take one of those guys out, and now you don't have that explosive New Orleans Saints offense that we're accustomed to see the last 10 years. So with Michael Thomas not in there, that's going to be a problem because they have some wide receivers. They got some guys that can go, some speed on the outside. But this dude, you can put him in the slot, you can put him outside. He can do everything. And when he's covered, he is open. Just throw it up, and he'll come down with it. I can assure you that. So they need to figure out a way to move on from him so they don't continue this distraction in the locker room, or they need to figure out how to make this work. If they don't, then it's going to be a huge problem.
I totally agree. They need some continuity, especially after you lose Drew Brees. Michael Thomas is one of the greatest talents in the business right now. He is a huge weapon for them, and he's been there. He's been in the system, so him not being there at the beginning of the season is going to be a problem. And on top of that, like I said, you don't know who the quarterback is. I'm also with you on Jameis Winston. I think Jameis has done a really good job of getting in better shape. He had the LASIK surgery on his eyesight, so I'm interested to see how that plays out, if that plays a role. It's something, and he is with Sean Payton, who's an offensive genius. So I think that they really just need to set a foundation for the direction that they are going to move in going forward. And if Michael doesn't fit into that role, then you move on from him. But right now, everything is just very unstable for the Saints.
It's unstable, and Sean Payton has yet to announce who their starter will be, so they're, I don't think, even sure. Saints, by the way, start the season at home against the Packers on Fox. Hey, speaking of the Packers, how nervous should Gang Green be after Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams' cryptic social media posts over the weekend? We will discuss next. First things first.